Good morning, Statesville Middle. This again is Miss Dalton, and we are going to continue where we left off yesterday in reviewing the student handbook. We are on page 8, and this starts the section on student discipline. Student behavior expectations, rules of conduct. Every student should strive to be considerate of others. At Statesville Middle School, we model and follow the behaviors outlined in the BARC matrix. Bulldogs are accountable, respectful, and kind. The BARC matrices are listed below. Technically, they are on pages 10 and 11 in your student handbook. These are our school-wide expectations, and there may be additional expectations that your teachers give you in the classroom. Authority of adult school employees. All of the adult employees of Statesville Middle School have responsibilities to the school, and in order to carry out these responsibilities, they have the authority to correct students when the need arises. If any student is corrected by an adult employee, the student is expected to accept such correction without question. So basically this means that any adult, whether it is a teacher who is not your normal teacher, a custodian, the cafeteria ladies, anybody that is an adult that represents Statesville Middle School has the authority to correct you or redirect your behavior, and you should accept that correction. There are quarterly PBIS celebrations for students who do not receive office referrals. Statesville Middle does not stand for or tolerate bullying of any kind. Please become familiar with the bullying policy, and that's what we're going to discuss next. Bullying policy. The Idaho Statesville Board of Education recognizes its responsibility to promote and maintain a healthy, safe, and orderly and caring learning environment in the public schools, an environment that is free from bullying and is inclusive of all students and employees. This policy includes, but is not limited to, the following types of acts. Bullying based on an individual's race, color, sex, religion, creed, ethnicity, political belief, age, national origin, linguistic and language differences, sexual orientation, gender identity / expression, socioeconomic status, physical characteristics, marital status, or disability. It is possible for bullying to occur at various levels: between fellow students or co-workers, between supervisors and subordinates, between employees and students, or imposed by non-employees, including visitors on employees and or students. The Idaho Statesville Board of Education prohibits acts of bullying. Like other disruptive or violent behaviors, bullying or discrimination is conduct that impedes both a student's ability to learn and a school's ability to educate its students in a safe environment. Therefore, this policy will apply, including but not limited to, the following circumstances: while in any school building or on any school premises before, during, or after school hours, while on any bus or other vehicle as a part of any school activity, while waiting at the bus stop, during any school function, extracurricular activity, or other activity or event, when subject to the authority of school personnel, and any time or place when the behavior has a direct and immediate effect on maintaining order and discipline in the schools. So this could also be after school when we are using items like social media to bully other students. So you need to also keep that in mind. Definition: intentional, a purposeful or hurtful act or behavior. Imbalance of power or ganging up, that's racial, age, name calling, gender, size, etc. Repeated, the intentional behavior is repeated over time. Categories of behavior: physical, hitting, punching, pinching, etc. Verbal, direct insults or put downs, name calling, and threats. Social and relational aggression, spreading rumors or lies about someone to damage their reputation or punish them socially. Sexual harassment is continued unwanted attention of sexual nature. Social media or cyberbullying. Board policies may authorize suspension for conduct not occurring on educational property, but only if the student's conduct otherwise violates this code of student conduct and the conduct has or is reasonably expected to have a direct and immediate impact on the orderly and efficient operation of the schools or the safety of individuals in the school environment. What's listed there is the state law or general statute 115C 390 may include but not limited to social media sites like Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, Instagram, etc. How to report a bully. Idaho State Schools Board of Education has zero tolerance for bullying of any kind. To report a bully, visit your school's website and click on the quick link on the top right entitled Report a Bully. The completed form will then automatically be sent to the school's principal or designee to investigate. Consequences and responses. Individual responses, positive behavioral interventions such as peer mentoring, short-term counseling, life skill groups, punitive actions such as in-school suspension. It could lead to expulsions. Classroom responses. This is class discussions, role-playing activities, research projects, observing and discussing audiovisual materials on these subjects, skill-building lessons in courtesy, tolerance, assertiveness, and conflict management, school-wide responses, theme days, learning station programs, parent programs, and information disseminated to students and parents. Consequences for students that violate the bullying policy will depend on the severity of the behavior. Parents and students should carefully follow and review the policies that we just discussed. So on pages 10 and 11 are your BART matrices. And over the next couple of days, starting tomorrow, you will start your school-wide expectations and learning all about the BART matrices and how you are supposed to behave in each of the areas of the classroom, the hallway, the cafeteria, restrooms, on school grounds, on the bus, at the bus stop, as well as assemblies and how you arrive and dismiss from school. So we will go over to page 12. School-wide classroom social contracts. Each class will devise a social contract together. This will be the expectations of the class each day. Classroom and BART consequences. First would be a warning and referring to the social contract or the BART matrix. Discipline questions. What are you doing? What are you supposed to be doing? Are you doing it? What are you going to do about it? And what is going to happen if you break our social contract or BART matrix again today? Next would be a call home, then a behave out, which could also be a bounce, and last would be an office referral. If the behavior issues continue, the teacher should get administration involved. Parent contact is a must before involving administration. Disciplinary referrals. Severe discipline situations are written up on a disciplinary notice, and the student will be dealt with by an administrator. Parents will receive a copy of the discipline notice outlining the offense and the action taken by the school administrators. Discipline is at the discretion of the administrator. Teachers are to keep parent contact logs to help filling out discipline referrals. Violations of the discipline policy. All policies and procedures are subject to change. Major offenses may result in suspension from school up to 10 days and or expulsion from school for the term. Minor offenses may result in a parent conference, student conference, lunch detention, after school detention or ASD. ISS is in-school suspension, or OSS, which is out-of-school suspension, up to 10 days. These violations will be handled on a cumulative basis. Aggravating as well as mitigating factors are taken into consideration when assigning discipline on an office referral. And students, just to have a conversation with you about an office discipline referral, we use a system that is called the Educator's Handbook that is a digital version of the office referral. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a piece of paper that your teacher pulls out to show you that they are referring you to the office. Also, there will be other items that if there are things like being disruptive in class and your teachers are giving you warnings on those, they can also write you a minor referral. And one thing to keep in mind is that if you have several minor referrals, that those eventually do become office referrals. So we need to keep those things in mind as we are interacting with our classmates, we are participating in class, and keeping disruptions to a minimum. Athletics. The purpose of the athletic program at Statesville Middle is to teach and promote and develop skills, teamwork, and sportsmanship. Our student athletes should strive to be positive role models on the field or court, in the classroom, and in the community. The following sports are available to SMS students. Football. Football is only available to 7th and 8th graders. Volleyball, cross country for boys and girls, cheerleading, girls basketball, boys basketball, wrestling, girls and boys soccer, as well as softball and baseball. Students must pass all but one course the previous semester, which means that you can only fail one class to be eligible to play. This is based on semester averages. Current 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students may participate on SMS athletic teams. 6th graders may participate in all sports except football. A student cannot participate on a team if he or she becomes 15 years of age on or before August 31st of the current school year. All 6th graders are eligible for sports during the first semester. And second semester, you must meet those requirements of passing at least 3 of your classes. A student must be in attendance 85% of the previous semester. A student may not miss more than 13.5 school days in a semester. Students must be in attendance at least 50% of the school day. The student must receive a medical examination each year administered by a licensed physician, nurse practitioner, or physician's assistant. The physical is good for 365 days from the date received. And so students, if you are interested in any of the sports that I just mentioned, that you will need to go and have a physical. If you think that you already have a physical on file, it is always best that you can come and check with us to make sure that it is still in good standing, so that when it comes time to participate or to try out for a sport, that you already have your physical, because you won't be able to stay for workouts or to try out unless you have that physical already completed. The student may participate only at the school which the student is assigned by the central office. All rules are governed by the North Carolina Middle School Athletic Guidelines. Probation list. If a student is on a probation list, and we talked about that criteria yesterday, they may not practice or participate in athletic activities until they are removed from the probation list. If you are a student athlete and you receive an out-of-school suspension on that first offense, you are removed from the athletics team for the remainder of that season. Now, you do have the opportunity to try out and participate on the next season in another sport, but for the remainder of that season, you would be removed from the team. ISS. First offense, student cannot practice or play the day or days in ISS. If the game falls during this time, students will miss a game. Note, it is considered a day in ISS if the student is in ISS for 50% or more of the school day. Also, assignment to ISS can be for one or more days per offense. Second offense, student cannot practice or play the day in ISS and will also sit out the next game the T plays after the completion of the ISS assignment. If a student misses a game while in ISS, he or she still must sit out the next game that the team is scheduled to play. Third offense, student is removed from the athletic team for the remainder of that sports season. Note, any student assigned to 3 or more days of ISS during the sports season will no longer be eligible to participate during that season. Athletic games. Students are encouraged to stay for ball games and support their team. However, students must make prior arrangements to be picked up from games by 6:45. And students, it costs about $3 for every game that you would attend. The most games will be completed by 6:30, 6:45, but we should not be spending time in class asking to use the phone to get someone to pick you up. All of those arrangements should be made the day before the game that you are planning to stay for. Students are expected to watch the event they stay for. Any student who runs around or misbehaves at the games will be prohibited from attending future games. School rules are in effect during the ball game. Students are not to engage in public displays of affection, such as hand-holding, kissing, etc. Students who are not picked up within 30 minutes of the completion of the game will be in danger to lose their privileges of attending future after-school activities. And again, admission to middle school ball games is $3 for all, and again, that is subject to change. Students who are on school probation list because of grades, inappropriate behavior, or owing fees may not attend ball games. Students reprimanded by an administrator or staff member during the school events may not be permitted to attend these events for the remainder of the year. Cell phone and electronic device policies. Except as permitted by this policy, wireless communication devices and headphones should be turned off and put away during the school day unless authorized by school administration for educational/instructional use. Cell phones or other electronic devices would not be used for listening to music. This includes, and we're turning over to page 12, in the hallways, cafeteria, gym, or any other area of the school. And students, I greatly appreciate the fact over the last couple of days that everybody has came in and their cell phones have been put away and ready for the school day. Photography or videography with any wireless communication or electronic device is prohibited. So this means that we should not be in classrooms, hallways, in the locker rooms, taking pictures and or videos. Statesville Middle School is not responsible for any theft, damage, or investigation for lost or stolen phones or non-school issued electronic devices. General guidelines and usage. Middle and high school students may possess a wireless communication device. Students should keep the device secured, silent, and out of sight unless otherwise approved by administration. Guidelines. For all offenses, the student will be given the opportunity to remove the battery from the device unless authorized school personnel have reasonable cause to investigate information in or on the device. No wireless communication device shall be seen, heard, used on during the school day, especially during testing of any kind. In the event that a student violates this rule, the device will be immediately confiscated and discipline administered as deemed appropriate by school administration. Consequences. The consequences for visibility and or use of wireless communication device during instructional time in violation of this policy will be: first offense, warning and opportunity to put away, confiscation until the end of the period, confiscation until the end of the day, and the office will return it to the student. Confiscation in office will return to your parent or guardian, 1 day in ISS, and confiscation and return to parent or guardian, and then 2 days ISS and confiscation return to parent or guardian. And students, this may be subject to change depending on your grade level and the expectations that they've given you. I do understand that 8th grade has decided that they are going to confiscate electronic devices on their first time that they see them. So we also need to keep that in mind. Cell phone and electronic device violations will be logged in the disciplinary database. Laptop usage policies. The ISS issue laptops are strictly to be used for educational purposes. Students are to follow the lessons and activities as assigned by their teacher. Students are not permitted to download movies, music, pictures, games, or apps, and are not permitted to be on social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Skype, etc. at any time. Iredell Statesville Schools employees have the right to search a student's school-issued laptop at any time. Students are responsible for the content found on their laptop. Laptops here will be shared to a certain extent. And so for consequences for violating this policy in the classroom are as follows. The first offense, a warning and an opportunity to get back on task. Second offense, confiscation until the end of the period and your parents will be contacted. Third offense, confiscation until the end of the period, parent contact, and a silent lunch. And fourth offense, and further past fourth offenses, confiscations, and then office referrals. The consequences for being written up as the class set are as follows. Warning and period in-school suspension. Second write-up, a full day of in-school suspension. Third write-up, 3 days in-school suspension, and student loses laptop privileges and receive paper and pencil assignments. The first loss would be 1 week. It would move up to 3 weeks. And then it would be, for your third loss, the remainder of the quarter or determined by administration. The fourth loss, remainder of the school year. And students, I need for you to also understand that when you are on electronic devices, you are also being monitored. So keep in mind that your teachers have access to the material that you are pulling up on your computer. The consequences for being written up when your computer is directly assigned to you are as follows. The first write-up, warning and period in-school suspension. The second write-up, period in-school suspension, and you become a day user, which means your computer remains in the care of a teacher and you go and pick up your computer and then you return it at the end of the day. It would not go home with you any longer. Third write-up, student becomes a limited day user. Only when a teacher needs the student to have the laptop and the student turns it in at the end of the period. The duration is determined by administration. The fourth write-up, student loses laptop privileges and receives paper and pencil assignments. And again, it goes through the same format as we talked about before, 1 week, 3 weeks, remainder of the quarter, or time determined by administration. And the fourth loss will be the remainder for the year. Inappropriate content found on a laptop can result in out-of-school suspension and possibly charges. Inappropriate content can be, but are not limited to, social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Skype, etc., movies, music, pictures, games, and websites. Illegal content will result in immediate confiscation of the computer, a write-up, call to the administration or the school resource officer, and a parent contact. Students, we have reached the end of the student handbook. One thing that I would like to remind everyone that if you are participating in fall sports, whether that is cross country, volleyball, or football, that tonight is our parent meeting at 5:30. If you are still interested in those and you have not contacted the coach to participate, that I would advise you to come this evening with your parents to the parent meeting. There's a lot of information that we need to get from your parents so that we can start off this fall season. I greatly appreciate your attention, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.